Action, reaction, action, reaction. If you don't know, I suggest you start asking. Action, reaction, action, reaction. Check out the show, come and see what's happening. This is real life, real people, no acting, real situations, no jokes, no laughing. When it gets drastic, it can be tragic. You must control yourself when you going through the madness. Some actions are good, reactions are bad. Sometimes it's vice versa, but it's all that we have. Some actions are good, reactions are bad. Sometimes it's vice versa, but it's all that we have. Enjoy the show, cop the book, like the page. You're more than welcome if you wanna hit the stage. Enjoy the show, cop the book, like the page. You're more than welcome if you wanna hit the stage. Action, reaction, action, reaction. If you don't know, I suggest you start asking. Action, reaction, action, reaction. Check out the show, come and see what's happening.
Thank you, thank you. Give yourselves a big round of applause. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. As my wonderful co-host, Mr. Kyle Abercrombie, has told you, tonight is the first taping of my show, Action Reaction, where I explore the action and I get real reaction from people like you. But tonight, the action is about my book, Sex, Lies, and Guys. Now, every time I say the title of my book to a guy, he gets defensive. Well, guess what? Tonight, I came for battle because I'm dressed for the occasion. But the flip side to that is, this is not a man-bashing manual, so please don't be put off by the title. When I say sex, lies, and guys, it encompasses a whole lot more than guys lying about sex, because you see, there's some history behind this. I bet you didn't know that George Washington, the father of our country, was cheating on Martha. He told her the night before that he was cheating on her. Now, I'm going to throw some names out there that you all know about and have heard about. Bill Clinton, okay, Anthony Weiner, Elliot Spitzer. Even the mayor of this town has had his own sex, lies, and guys little situation. So, see, we have somebody in the audience. So, I'd like to give you a little history behind this book. Kyle, if I can get a copy of it. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to tell you how I came up with the cover design. The cover design is the cat's eyes are green. The green represents the envy. The cat's nose is the male symbol, and his mouth is the word lies, and it's white, representing little white lies. The ampersand is the heart, because this is an issue at heart. And the blue represents the guys, and you see where it's positioned. The cat is sitting in a cauldron of fire because this is a hot button issue. The men blame the women blame the men, and before you know it, we have a debate going, which is what we're going to have tonight. Now, I came to write this book based on my own sex, lies, and guys situation. I was involved with a very prominent person in the city of Newark who shall remain nameless. And after I found out that I had been had, no pun intended, there was nothing that I could really do because I was afraid of retribution based on this guy's position. Also, around that same time, I lost my job. I got laid off after 10 years. So there I was with a bad situation on both ends, professionally and personally. I had a lot of time. So what was I supposed to do? I had a couple of choices. I could have took a bat and went and worked on his windshield, or I sat down at the computer and I used that time to just get my thoughts out, and it was very therapeutic. I wrote a blog, and the blog was so well received that it turned into a 220 223-page book. However, how I really got motivated to write the book was the guy who gave me the motivation. I had written him a letter, and I called him up and I asked him, I said, well, you know, would you come and see me? Would you come and talk to me? So he agreed. So when we got to the car, I gave him the letter, and he read 2 lines of it, and he says, I don't want to read this mess. Go write a book or something. Okay? So I took his suggestion. So tonight we are going to explore really the phenomenon of sex, lies, and guys. Now, like I said, this book started off about me, but the more I wrote and did research, the less it became about me and the more it became about the situation itself. I have some special invited guests that's going to help me go over the whole sex, lies, and guys situation, and then I'm going to take some reaction from you, my audience. So with that being said, I'm going to have Kyle introduce our first guest coming to the stage to join me.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Action Reaction. Come on, put your hands together, put your hands together. It's getting a little steamy in here. Our panel guest is coming before us. The name is Prose, an activist in our city, an author who writes some wonderful material, which you're going to find out about as they ask these questions and he explores inside the world of sex, lies, and guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need for you to put your hands together and give a thunderous, thunderous round of applause for our panel guest, Prose. Come on, put your hands together for Prose.
Thanks for coming. Have a seat. I met Prose at a networking event, and I was immediately intrigued by his book, which is called Where is Love? I told him about my book, and I thought that he would make an interesting guest because I'm speaking of sex, lies, and guys from a female's perspective, and he's speaking of it from, well, he's not really speaking about the whole sex, lies, and guys, but he does touch up on some areas of it, and I thought that it would be interesting in hearing his perspective of sex, lies, and guys, and how does it relate to some of the things that you wrote in your book?
Well, when you get to the core issue, we're talking about people loving themselves. A lot of times deception happens because people are seeking to get companionship. And when they look for companionship, they're really not mature enough to know how to develop the groundwork that they need to be with someone. And then you start resulting to things where you do deception because it's easier to be deceptive to get what you want. And a lot of times the immature person is pursuing sex as an achievement rather than looking forward to love. So that's what happens.
I'm going to ask you point blank. Have you ever lied to a woman for sex?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is what I like, honesty.
Absolutely.
You know, most men won't concede to saying that they lie to women for sex. From a male's perspective, why do men lie to women for sex? Why can't you just say, you know, listen, I don't want to take you home to my mother. I don't want to put a ring on it. I just want to hit it. Why can't they just be honest and just, you know, because maybe that's all the woman is looking for too.
Right. You know, it goes back to when we little children. Men are taught to conquer. We're taught conquest. From the door, you're a little boy, you sitting outside, you at the picnic with Uncle Joe, and the first thing they ask all the little boys, how many girlfriends you got? And everybody like, yeah, how many girlfriends you got? And all the little boys, they trying to keep up with the grown men in their lives, so they start uttering the numbers. I got 2 girlfriends, I got 3 girlfriends, I got 6 girlfriends. And all the grown-ups sit around and they laugh, and they'll say, oh, yeah, ooh, you're going to break a lot of hearts. But you programming a young child to already start womanizing. You teaching them from the door that the most valuable thing he can do in a relationship is to conquer as many women as he can. You're not telling him be sensitive. You're not telling him to use his mind. You're not telling him to talk. You're not telling him to be honest. As he grows up, that lesson is refined because the people that he meet, they're going to keep saying things that favor an advantage. Mm-hmm. So it becomes normal. You don't even know better. You lying before you even think about it. You meet a woman, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Want to buy a drink? Yeah, here's a drink. So what do? Should I tell her that I'm a social worker? Nah, you know, I got a video coming out. I'm a rapper. I'm a singer. You know what I'm saying? I produce. You're already going down the line of lying because you're trying to conquer. You know, it's sad. It's sad. It has us in turmoil out here in our relationships.
Can you tell me what motivated you to write your book?
Heartbreak, getting it wrong all the time, getting it wrong endlessly. Being in the cycle, sitting in a relationship, and when I'm in a relationship, certain things happen, and the relationship breaks up. I'm in the next relationship, the same things happen, and we break up. And 3, 4, 5 times, it's not them, it's you. So I had to go and look in the mirror and be like, wow, I need to man up a little bit. I started looking at myself, and I'm like a little boy. Then I kept looking at myself, and I was like, I didn't even know what a woman was. Most men truly don't know the definition of a woman. They don't know the definition of a man because we define by things that we chase rather than looking intrinsically. And I had to do that. It took time. I had to do it. And I'm still learning. We all still learning.
How long did it take you to write your book?
The book was in my head 10 to 15 years. I had no courage to write it because I'm like, who am I? You know, I'm no love guru. What can I offer the world? You know, I knew I was nice with the pen. I knew I could write. But I was like kind of scared because I'm talking about something. I was like, I'm not that professional. But then it hit me one day. I was having a conversation with some people, and it was common for all of us. So my heart kicked in and was like, I got this message. Let me just share it. And when I started to share it, it started to build. And I finally sat down, and it took 2 years to write the book.
That was my next question because it took me 9 months. Will you tell people where they can get your book from?
My website or my Facebook. My website is writeinblackink.com. I'll leave some information around. You could also go on Facebook, Prose the Writer. And I had it in Barnes & Nobles and Amazon and all of that. But as an independent writer, you learn quickly that when you put it in those places, they make you skyrocket in price because you got to give them 50% discount. Yeah. I wasn't trying to do that. I think a book should cost $10, no higher. So,
okay. Is that the price of your book?
Yeah, it's $11, $10 plus tax.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Right.
I appreciate you coming on.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, give Prose a big hand. Where is the love? His book is available. We just heard from my first guest, C. Hask, also known as Prose. He is the author of the book, Where is the Love? A book about relationships from a man's perspective. I read the book right before my show, and I found it intensely intriguing. But the part that stood out the most to me is where he says that no man has the intention of starting out a relationship with a woman as just friends. Coming up next, my guest is a man who says he was raped when he was only 9 years old by 3 women. He believes that experience manifested itself into his developing his sex, lies, and guys' behavior. We'll talk to him next.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Action Reaction with Krystall Bhall, who knows it all. Come on, put your hands together. Give a thunderous round of applause. Our topic for today is sex, lies, and guys. We're going back in the studio where we're going to have our special guest, Mr. Howard L. Crocker, who's a retired history teacher, a basketball coach, and he is an alumni of Kane College. So come on, put your hands together for our guest, Mr. Howard L. Crocker. Krystall Bhall, she knows it all.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for coming. I know him as LJ. LJ has been a long friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine. And how he became a panel member is I was talking about my book in the park, and LJ, I liked the fact that he was very frank, he was very candid, and he said, yes, men do lie for sex. I said, LJ, would you be willing to come and say that on camera? He said, absolutely. LJ has always been very outspoken, and now I'm going to give him his chance to speak out and tell the audience what you told me in the park.
Thank you for having me, Krystall.
You're going to speak directly into it.
When we was out in the park, some of the fellows that was out there that you know also was trying to BS you about their real feelings. And I thought they was wrong. I said, man, why y'all telling this sister a lie when you should be telling her the truth? Because she asked you for the truth. So that's when I came in and I started talking. For me, the first lie that I would say, go back into history, that I ever known of was the first lie between man and woman in the Garden of Eden. And Eve told the lie first when she told Adam that she did not take part of that fruit. Okay. So for me, that was the first lie that was recorded for mankind. To twist it around, after that, man and myself, when I was younger, yes, I did lie about trying to get into the ladies' panties because that's what I was taught. Exactly. Lie, cheat, do whatever you have to do to get what you want. And that's what I did. And now it's a different ball game because I have a true lady on my side. So there's no need for all of that anymore. But I was very young and dumb when I did all that stuff because I was taught that I had to do that just to conquer.
Well, you said something very interesting to me, and I speak up on it in my book because I say that when a man lies to a woman for sex and hurts her and exploits her feelings, he wouldn't want another man to do that to his daughter, to his mother, to his aunt, to a female who he loves. And you said something very interesting about your two daughters. If you can recap that for me.
I'm an older guy right now. When we spoke of that, be honest with you, I forgot most of it. But I'm just being honest. I did forget most of it. But Alzheimer's. I was trying to explain. I have 4 daughters. And I was trying to, when I used to teach them, I used to tell them, if you're going to deal with a man, be upfront with a man. That way he won't have to go behind your back and do the things that you don't want him to do to you. So that was one of the things we were discussing. And one of my daughters, she thanked me for that because she knew that she could tell a lie just by looking at a man when he opened his mouth. She knew he was lying because of what my experience were with women. Okay. Because when I was a young boy at 6 years old, I was raped by 3 women. And wow. I didn't mean to get into that, but this is where that came from.
Hey, this is reality. You know,
and I was 6 years old, and I know the girl's name. I'm not going to say it on the air. It was 3 sisters, and the age was 9, 12, and 14. And they were babysitting me. And the thing about it, I was so scared. I was scared of women for a long time because of that. And I thought all women were like that. And as I got older and became a teenager, I flipped the script again.
That's what I was going to say. So do you think that it manifested itself and that was one of the reasons why when you became a teenager that you started lying to women for sex because these women had essentially used you for sex? Do you think that it manifested itself that way and it had like a reverse psychology type of?
In a sense it did, but I also had my peers. They was messing with girls also, and you can't hang with the boys and don't mess with girls. Okay. So they used to like me. I started liking them. So I would tell a lie just to get what I needed. And that's how it started. By the time I started playing basketball, football, girls were just open. They would say, I want you. I didn't have to lie about it. Okay. I want you because I was a figure in the high school. And you know, like it is now, everybody wants to be with a star. Right. And I'm not saying that I was all of that, but I was all of that. And for me, it was just, I mean, I didn't discriminate against any particular woman if she was short, so-called ugly or fat or whatever. I talked to them. I treated them with the utmost respect because they showed me the most utmost respect just by approaching me. So for me, it was an honor. Being real about it, was an honor for them to come to me and wanted me.
Okay. Well, I thank you very much for your candid introspection on your experience with the whole sex, lies, and guys issue. And let's do this again.
We shall.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we just got some real good information from a man who's been there and done that. We're going to be taking a break and coming back with my final guests and then audience reaction. This book is a guaranteed page turner that any man who has ever lied to a woman for sex can't deny, and any woman who has ever been laid and played can relate to. Order your book by going to my Facebook page, Sex, Lies, and Guys. And for a limited time, while supplies last, you'll also get a free Sex, Lies, and Guys t-shirt. Both are available by going to my Facebook page, Sex, Lies, and Guys, and shipping is free. Order yours today.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who just tuned in, we're here live for Action Reaction. Come on, audience, put your hands together one more time for Action Reaction. With our wonderful host, Krystall Bhall, she knows it all. One more time, give it up for Krystall Bhall, she knows it all. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest that we're going to bring to the panel is Alfreda Powell. She's the proprietor of Beauty, Christian Beauty, and she's also a Rutgers University alumni. Put your hands together for the beautiful Miss Alfreda Powell.
Hi, how are you? Looking good?
Frida, thank you. Thank you for joining me. You're looking fabulous as usual.
Thank you, thank you.
I like to just give a little history about Frida and I. We go way back from many years ago. And when she moved up to this area, I came into her store. She has a boutique, which she's going to tell you a little bit about. And she didn't remember me, but I remembered her. And as we began talking and reminiscing, then she remembered that she and we grew up in the same housing project in Newark. So it's funny how life can take you around in circles and you meet the same person again. In addition to us being neighbors, because she's right up the street, she is the owner of a boutique, and she always, put your hands together because she always looks fabulous. So, Frida, before you tell us a little bit about your boutique, I want to know, from a female's perspective, what you think about sex, lies, and guys, and has it ever happened to you, and if so, how did you deal with it?
Well, technically, every day, you know, there's different types of relationships, whether you're married or single. And I guess basically everyone is going to experience their mate not being honest with them. But I think honesty is the best policy. And I really feel that, you know, if you're honest with your mate, no matter what it is, I think if you're interested in a lengthy relationship, you should be honest with your mate.
Have you ever experienced a one-on-one situation such as I explained what motivated me to write my book, with a guy that deceived you, exploited you for sexual favors? And if so, how did you deal with it, and how did it make you feel?
Well, I've never really been exploited for sexual favors, but I have in the past, you know, when I was in my 20s, without revealing how old I am now.
She's in her 30s, girls.
But there has been times when I've had relationships when you think you're the only one in a relationship, and then you find out that your boyfriend is actually having an affair on the side. You know, and actually, to be honest with you, one time I was at a party. This is how I found out. And it was a house party. Back in the day, they have house parties. You know how those parties go. And I was there with my girlfriend. And suddenly I looked over and she said, you know, actually I didn't see him right away. She pointed him out to me.
So your guy was at the party and he didn't know that you was coming to the party.
He didn't know I was there. And he was in the corner because back in the day they put the slow music on.
And we was doing a grind against the wall.
And I happened to look over. It was so dark I didn't even know it was him. But then I saw the other young lady that he was with. So that, I mean, that's, I know. But that's how I found out that the person that I thought that, you know, was true blue to me was actually moonlighting on the side with someone else.
Okay.
You know, and needless to say, that was the end of the relationship, you know.
So you can say that
I have to be the one.
You can say
the
that
only one.
You can say that you're the type of woman you wouldn't tolerate. You wouldn't tolerate if your mate, your husband, or your boyfriend, or your beloved, if you caught him. Say like if this happened now that you're a full-fledged woman, would you tolerate your husband if you found out that he was in fact having an affair and lying to you about it? Would you tolerate? Would you accept that? Would you forgive him?
Well, I guess there's a couple of things you have to consider. You have to consider the longevity of the relationship. You have to consider his value to you in a relationship. Sometimes people will become in long-term relationships, and just like you fall in love, you fall out of love. But if you still love your mate, whether he's your boyfriend or your husband, I mean, I think everybody is entitled to one mistake. I think if you have a serious relationship with someone, he's a good provider. I mean, you know, I think he's entitled to at least one indiscretion. I'm the kind of person that can forgive and forget.
But not two.
Well, no, we don't want to have two indiscretions.
No, I'm just okay. We're gonna have to wrap up your segment right now. But before we go, first of all, I want to say thank you. And before we go, I want you to tell the audience where they can come to your shop and get some of your fabulous fashions.
Well, the name of the store is actually Pure Charisma Boutique. We're located at 516 Main Street in East Orange. We're in the RPM building next to Elegant Eyes. And I carry sizes from size 2 all the way up to size 30W.
Okay.
You know, we do shoes, pocketbooks, jewelry, accessories. You know, so if you come in to my shop, just mention this show, Yolanda's show, Action Reaction, and you get a special discount.
Hey, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Frida, thank you so much. My final two guests are Miss Greer Gray, a nutritional consultant and school teacher, says her affair with a married man taught her a lesson or two about sex, lies, and guys. And Miss Boss, who says she got laid and played with sex and lies by men as well as with women she dealt with. Coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to Action Reaction, where our topic today is sex, lies, and guys. The author of that wonderful book, Krystall Bhall, she knows it all. We've got two wonderful guests in the house tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to introduce our first guest, Miss Boss. She is the boss. She is the consultant, the owner of MB Consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our guest, Miss Boss. Also on the panel tonight, we get double trouble, 2 for the price of 1. It's Greer Gray, consultant on eating according to your blood type. That's very interesting. Works for the Board of Education of the city of Newark and Essex County and all around. She's a wonderful individual. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, for those of you just tuned in, welcome to Action Reaction with Sex, Lies, and Guys. Put your hands together for our host, Krystall Bhall, who knows it all.
Okay, thank you, ladies, for joining me. As Kyle said, we have Miss Boss and we have the lovely Miss Greer Gray. Ladies, as my two final guests, I want you to both give me your opinion and also your experiences with sex, lies, and guys, beginning with Greer.
Okay. Is it working?
Yes.
Actually, I recently was lied to. Now I'm a OG, right?
But you're very pretty. She's very pretty, isn't she?
I really.
She's a pretty OG.
I didn't really think I could be had, but I had a guy who told me that he was separated from his wife, but they were living in the same house, right?
Okay.
I
So
believed him.
that should have been the first red flag.
Right. But I believed him because no one's ever told me that before.
Okay.
And I'd never dealt with a married man before.
Okay.
So I wanted to believe him until, the holidays was always an excuse. It was always an excuse. That's the bottom line. It was always an excuse. And I really felt bad that I even believed him.
You felt bad for yourself after realizing that you had been had, or you felt bad for him?
No, I felt bad for myself.
Okay.
Because I should have known better.
Well, you know what? This is where I have problems with this, because another friend of mine, when I went through my Sex, Lies, and Guys episode, she says, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have made yourself available. You should have known." I'm going to quote Bob Marley. Everybody knows who Bob Marley. Bob Marley, in addition to being a wonderful musician, was also a great philosopher. And one of the things that he says is that the most cowardice thing a man can do is to awaken a woman's love with no intention to love her. So don't beat yourself up, because in order to fall in love and be in love, you have to make yourself vulnerable. And if that person who you choose to be in love with, or who positions themselves to be in love, have no intention of it, then the onus is on him, because he's the one that's really going to have to suffer for that through some sort of way. But continue.
Yeah. So, but one of the things that I realized in my life is that my history always I have the evidence that things are always going to work out. I always meet better men.
Okay.
So I met a better man.
Hey, hooray! So are you in love, or tell us a little bit about this guy?
One of the things that I've learned from that relationship is that I don't give up too much stuff too soon.
Okay. I have to say, when Debrina was with me when I went through my Sex, Lies, and Guys experience, and she taught me the 30, 60, 90-day rule, which is within the first 30 days when you meet a guy, you're meeting his representative. Within 60 days, the second layer comes off. And if you make it through 90 days, then it's a good chance that you're going to have a relationship. But you know what? My experience has been most of them don't make it through 30 days, because that's when I find out that they're not serious.
I'm sorry, Krystall. You said 30 days. How about the ones in 3 days?
Well, I have
15 minutes.
Okay, but next, moving on, we're going to talk to Miss Boss. Miss Boss, tell us about your Sex, Lies, and Guys experiences and how you dealt with them.
Okay, I do apologize. I'm not going to sit here and tell you about my sex, lies, and guys, trials and tribulations. I'm going to flip it a little bit. How about I want a guy to be honest. Just, keep it gully. Let me know that I have a girl, and all I want you for is for your behind. I'm not going to say the words on TV. But
this is reality TV. He just wants a piece of ass. Say it.
Okay, fine. Most guys that meet me, first thing they want to say is, "Damn, shorty, you got back." Fine. Just keep it real. Y'all want to top that. No problem. But it's not about just sex, lies, and guys. What about the gals?
So are you going to shoot a hole in my theory that women... Now, I'm not going to say women don't lie for sex, because we do. However, and I got to stand up to make this point, we lie for different reasons, okay? We don't lie because we need to have this many women on the notch on our belt. We don't lie because we just want to see if it's different, because like she say, she's holding, okay? We lie because we're like, "Not tonight, honey, I have a headache." Or, "Not tonight, honey, I'm on my period." So women do lie for sex, and I dedicate a whole chapter in my book for this. However, it's for a different reason. But she's going to put another spin on it. Continue.
Okay. One point in my life, I felt like I was lied to so many times by men. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I'm not an angel. I've lied myself. But after you get a while of being lied to over and over, basically, same results, but a different scenario. I turned myself around and said, you know what? I'm tired of men. I don't want to be bothered. Let me go ahead and try a woman.
Okay.
Pause. The woman ain't no better than the man. If not, it's worse. And the reason why I say that is because it's more emotional when it comes to two women living together or being in a relationship together. The same thing I go through monthly is the same thing the individual is going through monthly. Therefore, she done lied and over and over. And it's crazy because the lies that I was getting from her was the same lies that I was getting from men, but it was just a female telling me that. So I was like, you know what? Sex, lies, and guys, when I hear Yolanda speak of it, Yolanda, why not say sex, lies, guys, and gals? Because it's not only men that lies out here. Us women, we lie too.
Okay.
With that being said, thank you.
Okay.
With that being said, let me go back to the men.
See, being that she has had relationships with men and women, she's a little bit more well-rounded with this. So then this way she can give a perspective from both sides of the issue. So, I mean, while I can't explain about the woman thing because I've never had a relationship with a woman.
You don't want one?
I don't know.
Offense out there.
I don't know. The rate that I'm going with men, I don't know.
Let me tell you,
but
sweetie, I done tried men, black men. Never tried a white man. Sorry. I thought that at one point in time maybe it was the type of, race of a man. So I tried a different race. It doesn't work, honey. Just leave it alone. All together. All together. I don't know what other religion of sex there is out there, but let's just leave it alone. But no, what I wanted to say was another thing. When it comes to the guys, lies lead you to a lot of places that in the future hurts, whether it's himself, herself, myself, yourself, or yourself, and as well as children. In my case, the lies that I've gotten from the men that I thought I loved, which I probably don't even still know what the meaning of love is today because I can't find the true one. What I'm going to... Don't go there. With that being said, decided to recite this for you guys. See, kissing is a habit. Sex is a game. He takes the pleasure, but I take the pain. One night of pleasure causes 9 months of pain. 3 months later, I had a baby girl to name. See, he's the bastard. I'm the whore. This would have never happened if that damn rubber was worn. When I reached the label of success, I shouldn't have let him look under my dress. He said I was cute. He said I was fine. 9 months later, what did he do? Basically everything. Left me behind. See, love started by a conversation, which led us into temptation, driven us by equivalation. When he sticked his foundation into my beautiful destination, it increased that population of that younger generation. Do any of you guys understand this conversation? Or should I just pick up my legs and give one of these guys in this audience a demonstration?
Hey! Now that was powerful. Yes. We'll be right back with our audience reaction.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who just tuned in, welcome back to the live taping of Sex, Lies, and Guys here at Action Reaction. How wonderful it was, Krystall Bhall. Your guest talks about how they were cheated by men, how they were lied to by men, and how they transitioned themselves from men to women. We've heard all that on the panels today. So let's get the reaction from those in the audience.
Okay, now, you've heard what I had to say. I wrote a 223-page book that I hope you all will be buying tonight. And now I want to take it to the audience. Does anybody have a comment that they want to say or a question they'd like to ask? Oh, okay. Hi, what is your name?
My name is Beatrice.
Beatrice?
Yes.
Okay, and what would you like to say about the subject title or your experience with sex lies and guys?
Well, being a person who's been hurt by a guy and his lies and everything like that, and from the panels, the gentlemen that spoke about that pretty much they're all about conquering. So I'm thinking, well, maybe is it my time to start conquering? Because if they're conquering me, then maybe I need to start conquering, or is there a double standard?
Okay. So essentially, Beatrice wants to flip the script. But I'll have you know, in my book, I did focus groups, and I asked 50 guys how they would feel about being used by women. And you know what they said? Oh, I like that. So I don't know. Good luck with that, Beatrice, but I hope it works for you. Okay, and you, sir, what is your name and where are you from?
My name is Malvo. Malvo.
Malvo, where you from?
I'm from right now where I was born.
Both.
Both. I live in Montclair from Haiti.
Okay, and what's your comment?
I had a comment about, because there's a lot of things I was spoken tonight, but I had a comment about the last. I think she was talking about the person who had the married man who said he was separated with his wife.
Greer Gray.
So she said she felt a certain way because she should have known that was a lie. And I agree with her that she should have known, and that's where the topic about marriage come about. Like, how do people understand marriage? You know, if someone said they're separated and they're living in the same house, most likely, you know, there's a chance for it to work because it's marriage. It's a union between two people. And when someone comes in the middle, even if it's just passing by and then you just happen to see it, but you still became a part of a reason why these people probably not work it out.
Okay, thank you. That's a very interesting perspective. And you, young man, what is your name and where you're from, and what would you like to say about the subject?
Dashawn Farad. I'm a reporter for YourBlackWorld.com. Okay. And I wanted to know if any of your guests, I'm sorry, you kind of like.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to make sure that we hear everything that you say.
Well, Ayanna Van Zant had said that African Americans have been damaged emotionally. And I wanted to know if any of the guests tonight felt that our experiences as African Americans regarding racism and oppression have contributed to the current crisis that exists in black intimate relationships.
Okay. Greer, you want to answer that?
I never really thought of it that way, but I'm sure there is some evidence of that.
Yeah, I would say so too. I would say that it has some impact on relationships. Who else has a question or a comment? Hi, what is your name and where you're from?
Hello, my name is Renee Harris, and I moved up here from Lynchburg, Virginia. And my ex-boyfriend said I was cheating on him, and he was doing the cheating. He was planting condoms in trash cans. Woo. And then the sofa, and I had a chocolate sofa. And so, like, when you fall asleep on it, you're going to drool. So he was like, you sleeping with my friends and stuff on. And it was like, he was like, I was sleeping with them, and I was hanging with his mother and sister. So I moved away from him. He was like bringing their clothes from downstairs in the studio and putting it upstairs. And so I got tired of it. I was taking care of his children while he wasn't doing anything. I was paying all the bills. So I just got tired of it, so I just left him. So after I left him, he thought he could take care of the house himself. And after I left, he couldn't do nothing. He got put out. So that shows that I was doing that. I was taking care of everything. So, okay. You know.
Thank you very much for that. I'm sorry about that situation to you. And, okay, we have everybody's joining in. I like this. This is the action, and now I'm getting the reaction. Stand up, young lady, and tell me your reaction to this action of sex, lies, and guys.
Hi, my name is Wanda Pateman. I grew up in Newark. I'm from West Orange. I've had experiences. You can say I'm a cougar, but I have a rule. And, you know, I like to be respected. I respect them. I give them a chance, 2 chances, but like if it don't work out, like maybe after 30 days, if I know what they're at from the beginning, if they can't wait on me, forget it. And I just keep it moving. Okay. That's all I know what they're about.
Greer, you got another student here. She said 30 days. Okay, you wanted to have a comment, sir?
My name is Stephen Michaels. I was born on South 7th Street in Newark. I live in West Orange. Grew up in West Orange, and I live in the Virgin Islands now. I feel bad for my brother over there with the girls. I've been taken advantage as a musician too. Girls see you sitting on stage, whatever. But I went out with someone for a long time, and I just walked out the door. I should have never walked out the door, so I'm getting to tell you right now. And about a year later, she got married. It was like 17 years. It kind of hurt. I just still have never been married. I don't think I can get married. I don't know. But that's all I want to say. Thank you.
He's a good-looking guy. Ladies, he's single. So, there you have it. We have talked a lot tonight about the subject of sex, lies, and guys. And we've gotten a lot of different opinions. In conclusion, I want to say that all men are not dogs. I don't hate men. I date men. However, for those of you who do, if the shoe fits, wear it. Because like LJ said, you have a daughter, a wife, a sister, or a mother, and you wouldn't want for that to happen to them too. I don't want to stay on my soapbox for too long, but all I'm saying is that if you meet a woman, you don't want to, as Beyonce say, put a ring on it. You don't want to take her home to meet your mother, and you just want to hit it. Tell her. Maybe that's all she wants you to do too. Okay? So in conclusion, I want to say sex, lies, and guys is not the way to live. And just be honest in your relationships. Now, the book is available tonight. It is also available online on my website, which is ACTIONREACTION411 or Krystall Bhall or Sex, Lies, and Guys. And to pump it up a notch, I'm running a contest. I need to know your comments about this. You log on to YouTube. This video will be available next Friday. You log on to YouTube. You post your comments, and you refer it to 5 people. It's called 550. You refer it to 5 people, and you each get a chance to win $50. So log on to my YouTube channel, Action Reaction 411. I want to know your comments. Let's make this a national debate. Thank you for joining in. This has been Action Reaction. Thank you. I'm Krystall Bhall.
Action reaction. If you don't know, I suggest you start asking. Action reaction. Check out the show, come and see what's happening. This is real life, real people, no acting, real situations, no jokes, no laughing. When it gets drastic, it can be tragic. You must control yourself when you going through the madness.